Hey, good evening. Welcome to Airfix and Chill. And yeah, it's a bit of a wet one out there. We've got storms coming in tomorrow, so we'll be all on our benches while we're all getting flooded out. So which will be good. But yes, full house tonight, which is excellent. It's nice having quite a few people on. We can then chat about things that are happening. I know that this week is Nuremberg, so we can expect Revell to be announcing new tooling, and Tamiya will probably kick in with one of their toolings. Obviously, we had Airfixes last week of all their new toolings. So it's just, I know that this is the time of year when we expect stuff, to come out from some of the bigger companies. But when I think about it, and I'm not saying this because I'm an Airfix fanboy or an Airfix shill, I don't think companies do as well as Airfix when to come to announce what they're going to be doing in the next 12 months. I think they've got it pretty much sussed. So the next part along is we all are waiting for Nuremberg and seeing what's coming out of there. I know Miniart have put out some kits and have said some things in their latest catalogue. Italeri have announced, was it 5 new toolings last week? I think I watched Gary's stuff, and I think he went through them. Very good video. Go and watch it if you can. He's done a deep dive on Italeri. But yeah, you at Bolton, I presume Revell were there. They didn't mention anything to you, did they, Ben or Luke, about any new toolings that they got coming out this week?
So I spoke to Luke. He stayed very tight-lipped of what could or could not be coming out on Tuesday. Essentially, you're just going to have to wait and see to see what Revell say. But there could be some new things in the pipework. There could not be. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, beyond the box.
Am I allowed to give a shout out, Moz?
Yeah, go on then.
So the podcast Beyond the Box Art.
Yeah.
Their next episode drops on Tuesday this week. So tomorrow.
Yeah.
Revell's announcement of their new tooling also occurs tomorrow at Nuremberg.
Yeah.
What Beyond the Box Art have managed to achieve is, although their episode will drop, they are then recording live with Revell from Nuremberg, where they can talk about the new releases. So it would absolutely be worth everyone watching and people that watch it back and whatever is keeping their eye on Beyond the Box Art podcast, because they will break the news in a very public way.
It's called Beyond the Box Art, okay? Not to be confused.
I'm going to comment on that.
Not to be confused with any of the other footballing podcasts that you may hear around,
or the shitty ones. Ooh.
Yeah, they will be. Fucking hell, that's it now. They will be announcing it tomorrow at 4:00. I did actually see a poster. Actually, I forgot about that. They did put it on Facebook that they've got a big Revell reveal. So I've tried to get out of my contacts in the trade, and they've said that Revell are being very stum about it. So
it will all become clear by sort of this time tomorrow, I would imagine.
Yeah,
definitely. So everything was kept hush.
I do have to say, although the Meteor as a subject is not my thing, I couldn't be less interested in it. However, from a modeler's point of view, what they had on the table yesterday with their Meteor in various stages of construction and everything else, it's a fantastic kit. Revell have definitely up their game, if you like, or they've certainly taken a step forwards in relation to the engineering of stuff and the way they do stuff. It's not my subject. I won't buy one because I'm not interested in it. But there are many, many people out there that are, and they're, the kit speaks for itself, I think.
Yeah,
I think their SR71 in 1/48 is a relatively recent thing. That was very, very good as well. So I think what they're doing is continuing on a shall we say, an upward trend.
Yeah, which is great as a consumer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
no, look, it's good for everybody when this sort of stuff happens.
Yeah. As I said, we're not limited to one company bringing out whatever. You spend your money, you make your choice, don't you? It's simple as. Like I said, that Meteor, that they released, fantastic. It's an incredible bit of work. And if you hear, like Chris, Airfix designer, now moved over to Revell, put a lot of work into that. Don't forget they're bringing out a Messerschmitt E. Is it Messerschmitt E they're bringing out this year?
109E in 77.
Yeah.
So.
Unbelievable that they've not had one in their range ever. Or they did, was it 1960s, I think it was.
It was a very old one. But I mean, in terms of also their new releases they had the Hunter on the table with the first test shots built up. Yeah. So rather than the 3D printed one they had at Telford, they had the first test shots with the adapted fuselage and obviously the whole new front section. That was excellent. And it looks like they're also taking away some of the designs from other brands where you're given a blanking plate, for example, to cut out certain sections to replace it on the original fuselage on the tooling. And again, it's been designed in such a way that the width of the part is slightly narrower to basically make way for your knife blade, so you don't cut it too big or too small. So things like that were looking really good. They had all their standard stuff. Again, it looks like they're going to be doing probably some reboxes, I would presume, of certain kits that are already, and then there are obviously going to be some new tool stuff as well.
Yeah. Just quickly, Locks 9, yes, there you go. I do have it on my bench. The 1-to-1 scale house by Modern Toss. It came this morning. I will do a review of this kit. Okay, it even comes with flocking to do the hairs on the back of the fly, but it is an actual construction kit. If you actually look inside, there it is. That's it. So I will be doing a review of that, and it's by a company called Tossfix, which I thought was quite funny. There you go, Tossfix. Oh, come on.
Why does the fly look like it's on LSD?
I don't know, but it's licking a bit of bacon, though, isn't it? You know what I mean? So I will be.
Freaky bacon.
Licking something. So I will be doing a review of that this week. Yeah, that arrived today. 18 quid that cost me.
18 quid.
18 quid. 18 quid. Right.
See, you come and went out and sent for you.
But this is the most accurate housefly ever produced. And
this is the only housefly ever produced.
I got one on my window, so you can have it for free.
I tell you what, mate, it's a 1-to-1 scale. So you know what I mean. It's the most accurate scale model out there at 1-to-1 scale.
So cheap just to catch one.
So it was
Just spray it and embalm it.
Rubbish. It's a bit rubbish. Does not look like it does when you put it together. A bit impressed when they do the gnat.
All right, you're going to do a build video for it, Moz?
I'm gonna do a video on it. Yeah, and probably build it as well.
Are you going to weather it? You're gonna go real to town. Is it going to be on scenic diorama? Where's it going to be?
A real piece of bacon.
A piece of bacon. It does actually, like I say, it comes with a little bit of flocking, so you can put the hairs on the back of it,
I suppose there's going to be a whole series of them, isn't there? Perhaps a wasp and then a gnat.
Yeah. And it even comes with it comes with a transparent pair of wings as well, so you can put the wings on the back of it as well. So
you just know somebody's going to make that and then somebody's going to come along and smack it flat with a newspaper as
well. Yeah, that's it. Look at that. It even comes housefly. It even comes with proper instructions like the old Airfix instructions. It is actually a very, very novel, great idea. But 18 quid? No, I don't think so. You know what I mean? It's no flies on Mars. Yeah, I will do that. So yeah,
I'll tell you what though. Thinking now, if that's done well,
yeah,
it's a competition winner.
Yeah.
It
won't be me. We make it. I'm sending to you.
No, it is. If you entered that into any other category, you know, anything else that's not listed in the categories, and did it well on a nice base with a nice piece of bacon or whatever, I think that would place. Here in the UK, I know it wouldn't place in the US, but it would here.
Yeah.
Get a piece of bacon, put some super glue on it, and get a real flying edge of that.
Yeah.
You probably win.
Yeah.
Just
I'll put it on one of those tennis rackets.
Yeah.
That's a waste of bacon. Come on.
You put that box next to it, they won't be able to tell the difference. A prize every time.
So, can you answer a question, Moss? What possible use is that model?
It is exactly what it is. It's called Tossing. So it's a website. I can't remember what the website's called now. Modern Toss. It's called. They've got some like sort of thing. It's quite. You know.
I mean, to be fair, John, it's a bit of a harsh question to ask because what is the point of any model? To some extent, what use is any model?
Yeah, but you couldn't use it for a diorama because
you could. You couldn't have a massive turd on a fly.
Yeah, get a dog turd from a joke shop. Job done.
I think most of us in the scale modelling world currently are quite blinkered into diorama construction, vignettes, model construction, whatever. Predominantly military and automotive. That's predominantly where we go.
Yeah.
However, what is a diorama? What is a vignette? Does it have to be? Do you know what I mean? So you could absolutely construct a vignette rather than a diorama. A vignette of a fly on a piece of food, and if it's done well, I guarantee that will.
Well, I think this could be great for arts and crafts in schools. Actually, for instead of giving them the Airfix Wobble 1 tanks, you give them these flies.
And it may be the case that I'm on that website right now.
The question everyone wants to know, though, is how did Moz come across a website that's called Modern Toss?
I'll be honest with you. I'm really pally with somebody, and he is always on the ball when it comes to new releases, new model kits. He always sends me links. He's an absolute godsend. I love the guy. I must send him a model kit actually to thank him for it. And he said, "Have you seen this, Moz?" So I went around and I looked. You know, they've got the periodic table of swearing. You must have seen that.
Yes,
video.
I'm looking at that right now, mate.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is. You know.
Yeah, I may spend some money on there. I think
you could click on it.
Yeah.
God.
You know what I mean? You know. You could just click the buttons and just do it. You know, it's quite a clever bit of kit. Hang on, let's show the tab. You go on there and just.
Oh my god. Well, I think this video is going to get me demonetized now with this.
Yeah.
Pissing into the wind.
Anyways. That's enough of that anyway.
Just think of the highbrow engineering we were talking about last week with the Airfix Phantom, how brilliantly engineered it was, and now we're on a site with an interactive periodic swearing board and a scale fly.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you know, it's just one of them, isn't it? It's just a bit of fun, isn't it? You know, Knox9 just said a 1-to-1 scale turning coming. Yeah. Imagine the weather and you could get on that, you know, a little bit of yellow in there for the sweet corn, you know what I mean?
Also boiling water so steam comes off it.
Yeah. Yeah. You could even put a smoke machine inside the turret.
Yes,
one of those smoke generators from the RC tanks.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking you could get one of the Tamiya dinosaurs as well, and you can have it like a Jurassic Park in the background of the dinosaurs done the turd and the flies on the. Oh, there it look. We really worked it out.
Possibilities.
So if you did a diorama of salad dressing, would that be a
yeah. Sorry, I'm just. Some of the comments
there's
on
a
this
model
page.
bit of a pot noodle.
Yeah, there is. I'll tell you what, though, that will be good for the just for fun modelers. You know what I mean? You see them all over. They're brilliant set of lads. Somebody just said to me there, are you going to do wings folded for the FAA version, Moss?
Now that I like.
What a dinner party. Yeah, great. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a lot of money, though, 18 quid. But
that is a lot of money.
It's a novelty thing, isn't it? Crumbs, I've spent 120 quid on a 1962 Airfix catalogue before. So, but
Did
I've
you
got
mean
it
to
now.
admit that in public, Moss?
I'm sure I spent once about 15 quid on a spritz bottle of green fluid, which had the title on the packet, Irish Accent Mouth Spray. I can tell you it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's a gimmicky thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? But it was scale model. What is it? A scale model? It isn't, is it? Because it's 1-to-1.
Well, it is. It's a 1-to-1 scale model.
It's scaled 1-to-1, I suppose, but
it's not like you've got a real fly, you've embalmed it and stuffed it and put it on a plinth. Then that wouldn't be a scale model.
Just stuff a fly.
You could cast it in resin; it'd be worth more.
But then, if you think about it, this is just a little bit of fun, right?
Yeah.
But if you think about the scale models that we've had over the years, we've had blue tits, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've had horses.
Yeah.
It's nothing. This is just a novelty because it's housefly in a little matchbox. Bit of fun. But those out there who will buy animals, dinosaurs, and paint them up and make them or use them in some sort of rama of any kind. So, yeah, that's right. Atlantis are popping the 1-to-1 human skull again. I remember that. Yeah, well, thanks, Travis. I forgot about that. So maybe we'll see some of this coming out at Nuremberg this week.
Would you spray that or brush paint it?
I'll brush paint it.
Yeah, I think it might be worth brush painting.
I'll probably brush paint it, sticker effect it, and then put some hairspray on it and put a bit of flocking on it to get the hairs on the back of it, and you're done, aren't you?
Yeah. No,
just dot the whites for the eyes.
It's a very nice idea indeed. But I will say only one more thing about the periodic table of swearing. It's a lot bloody cleverer than it looks, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
When you look at the periodic table proper, on the left-hand side of the periodic table, the elements get more reactive as you go downwards. On the right-hand side of the table, they get more reactive as you go upwards. And then you've got transitions in the middle. On the periodic table of swearing, it follows that. And that's
really?
Someone knew that. So that's bloody clever, that, I think. So props to them. See, it's so impressive that Luke's gone still. There you go. Oh, he's come back.
Luke's gobsmacked. He can't believe it.
It starts with that C word and then goes down to silly C and SFC, silly FC, and it goes all the way down.
It gets more reactive.
Does anyone else hear music?
Yeah, it's from I think it's from the website.
And I'll see if I can mute the music. Yeah,
I thought it gave it a sense of class, in fairness, having the music.
Yeah. But it's, PC. Who's the prat in the corner? Do you know what I mean? I didn't. Yeah, but that's what it is. It's just a website where you can buy that. That delightful fly from for £18.
Can I use that table for the new word I learned?
You put in roundel size.
Yeah.
Well done, Graham.
If you have any fly reference material, please send it to me. Are you going to put roundels on it? And apparently Hugh Gordon said that's periodically impressive. Getting back to models, by the way, because this is a model show.
No,
I think so. Yeah.
I thought I turned onto the Natural History channel.
That's it. But as I said, there are things that we build that come in scale that we build. It doesn't always have to do that. So yeah. Anyways, I'll be building that. I'll be doing a review on it this week. That video. I've got to do the Welsh model show. Thanks to all the guys in Wales for putting on a great model show there. We were just discussing actually because at Bolton you were saying that it was really good how it's all set up. Even the parking's free. It's a very well run model show. And I can't say, I haven't been to Bolton. I was going to go this year, but unfortunately, I'd already booked in to go to Wales. But even the Welsh show's getting bigger now because they're now over 2 halls. And they had a bloody good breakfast bar outside as well. They had, for burgers and bacon baps and that. It was brilliant. Cheapest I've seen for many a year. 3 rashers of bacon, one fried egg in a bap, £3.50. Where can you buy it for that these days? You can't, can you?
I mean, the food at Bolton was very good as well. It was very northern. I did chicken out of going total southern. It was very northern. I chickened out of southern tourist of having, a meat and potato pie and bovril. Because I thought if I order that with the people, with bovril, the people behind the desk would look at me and go, "You southerner, get out."
There's nothing wrong with bovril. I have bovril when I go to the football match. I love a bovril.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. I thought I'll try it, and then I thought I'm just going to look like a bit of a prat ordering that in my accent. Best not.
Go, Jim.
Bog roll or bob roll?
No, bob roll.
Bob roll. If it was northern, it'll be a barm cake, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they corrected me because they went bacon balm, and I went, "Do you mean bap?" And they went, "No, balm." And then it was just
you probably have a stotty. You probably have a stotty with corned beef in it or something.
You guys got more.
I remember saying it. I said that to a girl up in Liverpool once. I said, "Could I?" She said, "Oh, you want a breakfast balm?" I said, "No, a bap." She said, "You're not seeing my baps." She said, "No, they're balms."
I used to say that
yeah, she was a proper Liverpudlian as well with the fake tan. It was
I thought that was
where she'd been crying, it was going back to white. I get all that. It's a sarnie. It's a sarnie.
Yeah, well,
really good. Yeah. A sarnie is 2 slices of bread, surely. Anyway. Bacon butty, bread bun. Yeah, it's all the same. All the same.
Bacon butty.
In one hole, out the other.
Did I hear that Andy's Hobbies is at Nuremberg and he's kind of announced that he's doing a M3 in a smaller scale? Did I see that somewhere?
Yeah, I thought he was traveling there. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's not doing he's doing a smaller scale of the M3, I gather. Is that right?
Yes, he's downsizing his 16th scale M3 to 35th scale, and the first initial release, apparently he said worldwide, is going to be 2 kits in one. So you get the M3 and the M3A1. So it looked pretty cool.
Nice.
So
do you think that's a new
the 16 scale with TACOM, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that's because I don't think I would ever build 1/16th? Do you think now he's realizing that it is a niche market, the 1/16th and 1/35th?
When he started into 16th scale, it was TACOM and Border were just sticking their toe in, so he decided to jump in and do what he wanted to do, and I think it's been successful for him, but I don't know how much farther he wants to go with it. So that this might be financing his push into the main scale now. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, that was my next question. Has he built up those funds now that he can now attack what is essentially a Tamio Revell Academy trumpeter market when you got the 135th armor? That's what my next question
is.
Yeah,
maybe.
Be.
And I think the longevity in 16th scale is somewhat limited.
Yeah.
Because it gained a lot of popularity a few years ago with armor modelers, obviously. But I think now that popularity is waning somewhat. Most people would have gone out and bought, me included, although I haven't built them, the Sherman, the half track, you know, in that scale. People that then built them, and some of the best modelers in the world built them and did really good work. But once you've built one 16th scale tank, you want to build another one? Or are you likely to go back to a more manageable scale for display and storage purposes alone?
I think it's more.
And so I think that kind of initial thing where the popularity was huge and everyone went out and bought one, and fair play to Andy, because I'm sure that he capitalized that and made a lot of money doing it. And more importantly, he's probably learned a lot throughout that journey about the manufacturing process, the design process, getting instructions made, boxes, you know, and all the stuff that comes with a scale model kit. It's been successful for him, but he's now got the foresight to say, are people still going to be buying and building 16th scale armor kits in 5 years' time? Possibly not, you know. And you are quite limited, really, in what you can produce in 16th scale. Because if you go past World War II, well, one thing that happens certainly with tracked vehicles, military tracked vehicles, is they got a lot bigger. So if you, for example, wanted to produce a 16th scale Challenger 2 or M1 Abrams, that is not going to be small.
The thing is, though, with that,
bigger, they got bigger. So. Yeah.
I mean, they did get bigger, but they produce RC versions of those subjects already in 16th. And I think what Andy's also worked out, like you say, is that 35th is where the money's going to keep churning in, but he also has pretty much exclusivity in 16th. And I know from when I was working in the model shop, anytime Andy bought a kit out in 16th, we could buy probably 10 units of that particular tank, and it would sell straight away on the first run.
Yeah, I've got all of them. I don't know whether I'll ever build them, but I bought them because they're hundreds.
But then also, I think as well with the 35th, which is a good thing, is if, let's say, Tacom was still going to be doing the tooling essentially, but it's going to be in Andy's design and boxing, is that will be like the premium line now in 35th. So I would suggest that Andy's releases would rival with Tamiya's in terms of quality and design. And because of what he's done in 16th, he'll be able to force his way into that market, while still doing the 16th kits as well. But I presume it's probably just a slower pace now, especially with the cost and everything coming from China, I would think, into the US at the minute.
Tell me, when you sold the 1/16th tank, did you notice an uptick in sales at 1/35th or even at 1/72?
I actually noticed a drop. A lot of 35th models, a lot of them went to the 16th subjects. So they stayed on the 16th.
Right. You did. So when a new 1/16th came out, the sales of 35th actually went down, not up.
Yes.
Really?
Right. Yeah, because people were wanting to go and do the 16th because it was different. It created a lot of hype. And then because the 16th project would take so long, Andy would then do it. So I think I'm trying to think if the Tiger or the Sherman he did came out first, or either whatever one.
Sherman.
There was enough space between both releases that when they effectively finished one, the other one came out, and where they'd normally maybe have done 2 or 3 35th kits in between, they went, oh, another 16th. Right, I'm going to continue. And they literally just keep munching through them. And so I think people would go, if they knew the quality of the 16th was then going to be in 35th, so let's say Andy's going to start doing a range of 35ths, I think you would see a split in that. You'll see the guys who want to do 16th and continue doing 16th, and then you'll have the guys who like the 16th for the detail and everything, but now I can get it in my 35th kits, they'll then divert. So you'll see a split. And I think that's what he has to be slightly careful of is his market. His 35ths don't become as detailed as his 16th because anyone's going to go, well, if I can get the detail of a 16th and a 35th kit, it's cheaper and I can buy more of them. Well, I'm going to buy that. And he'll effectively do himself out of a market, you know, of the casual modeler rather than the diehard 16th modeler that has now been created.
That needs to be tested because I think that needs to be tested. Let's put it like that. The whole the thrust of the question was, is he driving up sales of a particular kit like a 1/16th King Tiger? Perhaps I don't know whether he made the King Tiger or not in 1/16th, but if he did, say for example he launched that King Tiger in 1/16th, did sales of 1/35th Tigers or King Tigers go up or down? Or you know, so is there a relationship between those two scales such that one is driving the other?
Not particularly, no. There was no correlation. It was just a general of the guys who were buying 35th armor on a regular basis every couple of weeks or every month, then went over to 16th whilst the releases were coming out, be it the Tiger, then the M4, and then I think we had the half track as well. Even if they weren't, for example, that subject modeler, they weren't World War II modelers, because it was bigger in 16th and it was detailed, that was enough for them as armor modelers to jump ship and go do it.
Yeah.
That's a good shout, actually. I think that's my only concern with 1/16th, and I say this with all the respect reserved to all the scale modelers who build 1/16th. It's very difficult when they build it up and they've painted it and everything. It looks a little more toy-like than it could be if it was in 1/35th. Am I allowed to say that? I don't see many at model shows. But I'm just putting it out there. The ones I have seen, it's been commented on that they look a little too toy-like. That's just playing devil's advocate here. What other people say, Jim?
So, what is toy-like? I hear this term used. I've heard it go down to describe 72nd. Now I've just heard it described for 16th scale. And I've heard people say, "Well, we build toys." Okay, I don't think we build toys. No. I don't think we do art either. I think this is a craft with artistic elements in it. It's a hobby. But it's like a bugaboo with me. Oh, it's toy-like. Well, please tell me what that is, because I've heard it used the whole gamut. Is it ultimately finished, irregardless of scale? Because toy-like would be a little 72nd scale airplane, so you could fly around your room. Although, we all done it. Although, what do we do with 16th scale Leopards and Tamiya M1A1 Abrams? They put motors in them and they go shoot BBs at each other. Well, that to me is the definition of a toy. So yeah, that's what kills me. It's like toy-like. Well, yeah. What is it?
So I'll have a go at that, if I may, just to try and describe toy-like, but not to have a go at you, Jim, because you're far too nice.
That one.
My understanding of that is that if you look at a dinky toy of any type, then it's generally glossy in finish, and the paint finish is absolutely even because it was sprayed by a machine and it came out precisely the same in every respect, in every part of its bodywork.
Right.
You then take say a 1/48th scale or a 1/35th scale tank, even the finishing of paintwork on a model that you build is not even because the way that somebody painted it wasn't even, and the way that it wears isn't even either. So it looks very obvious when you have a very, very even paint finish, and that's much more obvious in a larger scale or a larger expanse of plastic to look at. So take a 1/48th scale, or even better, a 1/72 scale XB70. It's a huge model kit, right? Try making that white, that semi-gloss white, not absolutely even all the way over. That's really quite difficult to do. And if it does look even all over, it does look a little bit not realistic. And the idea for me anyway, and my view on this is scale modeling is about trying to reproduce the real thing with the highest possible fidelity.
Yes.
Small scale. So to make
I'd also argue there that. Sorry, do you want to go, Jim?
I was just going to say, for Zinzan, it's finished other than scale. Being,
yeah, I think that's a fair description.
It's applied to everything evenly.
Thank you. That's an excellent description, actually. What I think about
so dinky toys come off like a production line. They're all sprayed the same.
Yeah.
All the paintworks are all even right across a production run of 1,000.
So like the one with the top,
like could be a 72nd scale airplane, or it could be a 16 scale tank.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, if it's toy-like, in my mind, if someone's saying it's toy-like, it has to have. It's not to do with the finish or anything like that. It's to do with the play value. So with toys, in my mind, they always have play value. So it talks about the 72nd one. You can run it around the room like a toy. You can have it, pretend it's a Spitfire, whatever. It's toy-like. Your 16th, you can motorize them. You can play around, like you say, BB, fire them, etc. is toy-like. For me, a model's not toy-like if you're not playing with it. It's a model if it's detailed, static, and you're not sitting there wrangling it along the ground or whatever. Because most scale models, if you were going to do that, would snap, break. They have no toy-like properties. So in my mind, I would say if it's toy-like, it has to have play value. The only ones I would argue that have that are quick build kits by Airfix, because they're designed to be played with, and maybe the starter sets where you can pick them up, you can spin the prop well and whir it around your head, if you are that way inclined.
Anything produced by IMI, especially the Tracy Island.
Yeah.
You push a button, trees fold down, ramp goes up, and ping, Thunderbird 2 goes flying off it.
Play value, literally play value. You have play value, and it shoots off a palm tree or whatever.
My point is that, and maybe I should have explained. I think with the bigger the scale, the more work you've got to put into it.
Absolutely.
To make it less toy-like. Then maybe I should have said.
I think you could ask 20 scale modelers the same question, and you're likely to get 20 different
answers,
views. So for me, I look at a lot of models that people produce, and I would say, in my head, 80 to 85% of them are toy-like. They look like toys, and that's my personal view. Now with 16th scale, and I'm not going to use any names, but there are people out there that can, and I've seen them in the flesh, that can produce let's use a Sherman as an example. They can produce a 16th scale Sherman that is so well done that in my head that doesn't look toy-like. It looks like a scale representation of the real thing,
which we're trying for.
Let's go along with that.
Equally, there are people out there that build a 16th scale Sherman and it looks like a toy. But that same individual could produce a 72nd scale Sherman that looks like a scale representation of the real thing. And the person that's produced a toy-looking 16th scale Sherman could build a 16th scale Sherman and it looks like a toy. It doesn't look, the weathering's not done well. The painting is too uniformed. Most 72nd scale aircraft, to me, look like toys. Because they do. In my head. And that's what I mean. It's so subjective.
Yeah.
You could ask 20 modelers the same question. So Ben said to him, toy-like is there would be play value attached to whatever it may be. To me, that's not a thing. People put LED lighting in their model kit, and a lot of people like that, particularly in the sci-fi world. That's the thing. For me, as soon as you put lights in a model, you've turned it into a toy.
Oh, come on.
It's true. It's true. If you're any good at painting, you can create like with paint. You don't.
What about like the Revel Technic models then?
But then there are lots of people out there that do put lights in and they look good, but to me they look toy-like.
Yeah.
So what about like the Revel Technic model?
I don't think you'll ever find a general consensus across a group of modelers.
Yeah, you're right.
Where everyone's like, yeah, that looks like a toy. Some people build 70-second aircraft, they paint it, they don't even weather it. And that's their thing. They love it. To me, you may as well just go and buy a die cast. It's pointless. You're not using any interpretation of the real thing at all. However, that's their thing. So all power to them. It's such a subjective view, but I'm with you, Maz, that most people that produce a 16th scale kit, it looks like a toy. It looks like an Action Man tank.
Thank you. So I'm not in the ballpark then, you know. And also, I've got a friend who's built a 1/16th Jeep. Or was it? No, sorry, it was a tank. So I told her it was a tank. He got the Zimmer on it. It looked fantastic. Put it in a model show. Didn't even place.
No,
didn't even place. And we were talking about it amongst ourselves, and we said it's 1/16th. You know, I've never seen a 1/16th. You may say, "Oh yeah, but your model shows are in the south." No, I've been north. You know, I've been to Blue Lamp and places like that.
Watford.
I don't see. I've been to other. I know I'm based in the south, but I'll travel 3 hours for a scale model show. I've just not seen them kind of make any push in winning shows. They don't
What I would say is next time you're at Telford, so this year, November. Go to the Four Corners Modelling Club table.
Yeah.
And there will be several 16th scale builds on that table.
Yeah. I saw them last year. They look like toys.
Buttocks. That is the guy that builds them. He's phenomenal at what he does. Absolutely phenomenal. To the point on the Sherman where he hand turned the baseball bat out of wood in scale. He hand stitched the baseball mitt that was on the Stoic. Like it's a whole new level.
Yeah.
But he is the exception. He's very, very talented. He's the exception to the rule. Now I know someone else who shall remain nameless who did a YouTube series of building the 16th scale Sherman, and it looked like a melted welly. It didn't look like a scale model at all. You know, so there's various, but it's very subjective. You know, if he was happy with it, then great. I would have set fire to it if I'd built them.
Well, you bid them anyway, Lee, so don't even go there.
I do, yeah, I do. I've binned a lot this week, you would have been crying.
I just send me the bases, mate. I don't have the diorama bases. I'll just send them to me. I'll pay you for them as well. Because I hate doing diorama bases.
I think another good example is the 1/18th Jeep that was at Telford last year, the new one from Agora.
Yeah.
It's because it's so perfect, it looks unnatural. It doesn't look right.
Yeah.
It's really nicely made, but it's too perfect.
It's a toy.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is. Whereas if you look at, and Jim will know because he's built one. You built a bike, didn't you, Jim?
Oh, right when you said it phased out. Yeah, I've got 4 bikes now, and I've got another one to do.
if you're looking at automotive modeling and a Model Factory Hero kit that's finished in a pristine way, it doesn't look toy-like because the intricacy of the detail and every component is there. And people spend years building these things.
Yeah.
So it's not, to me, it's not about the pristine finish, but I think does it look natural? Yeah. And an Agora 18th scale Jeep that's pristine doesn't look natural. Jeeps they don't look like that. But
even from manufacturer, they have dents and things in the panels and things like that.
Yeah, E-Type Jaguars, race bikes, classic cars look pristine, and they do look clean because they are. And then you're moving on to the level of detail that someone's included in that particular kit. That's what gives it its wow factor, you know. And so it's a different approach. But someone paints the 72nd scale Spitfire and doesn't weather it, well, it looks like a toy. Pointless in my head.
But it could be in a museum, spotless and immaculate.
Yeah, but the exception doesn't disprove the rule, does it?
Well, I take your point, but in general, in a museum, they're not spotless and immaculate because the windows are all clouded and they're all aged. And actually, most of them have had bits taken out of them, and various bits and pieces are missing from the.
I mean, I'm led to believe, I don't know how true it is because I've never done it, but if you were trying to build a model of a museum aircraft or vehicle, it's probably one of the hardest things you can do because they're not original.
No, they're not.
Like you say, Suzanne, there's bits taken off, there's bits bolted on, the paint's not the colour that it was in the Second World War.
I can absolutely back that up because if you look at the Corsair that's on display at the Fleet Air Arm Museum, that aircraft is as original as any aircraft you might want to look at, right down to the fact that the people who restored it, or they didn't restore it, the people who looked at it know that the engine has never ever been taken off its mountings because the original paper covers on the bolts that go in front of them,
there, aren't they? Yeah.
They're still there. Now, that aircraft actually doesn't have any seat belts fitted to it. So
and it would have.
The carbon monoxide shield at the back of the pilots, it's a canvas shield, that was taken out as well. And there's all sorts of things been removed, So the throttle handle, the quadrant is different as well from the original Tamiya model because it's a British one. There's all sorts of things.
I think I'm a big fan, and this will alienate 98% of people because most people aren't. I'm a big fan of the finish known as the Spanish method. I'm a big fan of that. It's completely unrealistic. It's completely almost anime cartoon finish on World War II tanks or whatever. I really like it. The reason I like it is because it demonstrates the ability of the person that's done it. The ability to use the airbrush in the way that they've done it. Because it's not easy. It's not an easy effect to achieve. And that's why I like it. But does it look realistic? Absolutely not. It doesn't.
So
it's the makeup and blusher, as Jim would say.
The makeup and blush.
No, but Luke, you I think you hit on a point here, in that it's to each his own. Ultimately, at the end of the day, there are modelers who love to use 27 to 33 techniques because that's their jam. My problem is when, and this goes back 30 years, when people were calling modelers, you're either a modeler or you're an assembler, and finger pointing goes on. And this is how you have to do it, and this is how you have to enjoy your hobby. If you want to go get into the paint and that's your jam, that's fine. If you're about to build, and that's fine. That's your jam. I'm kind of in the middle. I like it all. I want to see a perfect marriage between the two to bring that excellent build, prepare your canvas to do your effects. For me personally, I'm not a fan of the Spanish technique because it looks like, and I had a figure painter, a friend of mine, explain it. He's like, well, when you do figure painting, you accentuate, you do everything, you exaggerate it because you need to see it in the limited light of whatever area you're displaying, like the Japanese dancers do with all their makeup, and I forget the proper term for their dance, the lady. Geisha, okay, and they get all their makeup on, and you have to go overboard so you can see it. And if that's your thing, in whatever you're doing, if you're doing armor or whatever, or figures or whatever, my sweet spot is the realism. So like when you say modulation and the Spanish technique doesn't look real, that's why I don't like it, because my goal, and just me and me only, my goal is realism, because I'm trying to shrink that one-to-one thing down to as small as I can, or the scale that I'm working in, and make it look like I pulled it out of a machine that just got shrunk down. When I see a painting, do I like the watercolors that are splashed all? It looks like I'm on LSD looking at something, or do I like the highly detailed painting that took a guy years, but it looks almost like a photograph? To me, that's much more harder to do, to pull off, to execute something that make something look real, than to go down whatever road that is your jam. So, sorry, I just had a phone call. I had to delete it. But the thing is, and I lost my train of thought, because Luke had said something earlier, and I was like, yeah, I want a kid on that, and I forgot what it was. Old age. But what it really does boil down to at the end of the day is you do what you want. You just can't do.
It's all going wrong.
I'm talking, phone has to ring. So, but that's it. It's just with this hobby and podcasts and YouTube channels, and everybody's doing their thing, and they're being judgmental, and you got to do this, and you've got these guys saying, well, they get pissed, well, they can't do this because they can't do it, and that's why they make judgments upon other people and come up with these attitudes, and it's just like, man, can't we just things never change. Things goes in cycles. Like I said, 30 years ago, we were pointing fingers between modelers and assemblers. Now it's like painters and builders. It's just like, God, can't we all get along? It's a hobby. Let's all enjoy it, And my rant is over now.
And I think you're right, Jim, that unfortunately there are certain people out there that will say, oh, they don't like it because they can't do it. That's rubbish.
Yeah.
It's rubbish, because anything that we do in this hobby, whatever methods you use, whatever you do, everything is learned.
Yes.
And everything is practiced.
Yes.
We are not neurosurgeons. We're none of that. So if someone wants to learn the Spanish method, for example, then if they spend enough time and enough dedication to that, they will learn how to do it. And they'll be able to do it. So it's not a case of they don't like it because they can't do it. That's not the case. The case is everyone's got their own personal
style.
Preference.
Yeah.
Jim, yours is realism. That's your thing. Mine, I would argue, is probably leaning more towards the sort of visual interest area rather than
like your lifeboat, Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everyone's got their thing. But no one, we can say what our opinion is about something. And I can say that I think most 72nd aircraft look like toys. Because to me, even the ones I've built, they look like toys, because that's just my personal thing. It's subjective. But I would never turn around and say, you shouldn't do that, because that's not, you're only doing that because you can't do something else. Because that's not the case. For some people, they like to build 72nd aircraft. They don't like to weather them. They don't like to do anything to them. They just like them as they are. That's fine. That is what it is. What annoys me a lot, is when people put stuff into competitions they know the rules.
Yep.
They know the rules before they enter the competition. Some competitions not so much, down to the judge and what they like, and that's wrong. But most competitions, certainly IPMS competitions, you know the rules before you put it on the table. What you can't do is then whinge after the event that you didn't place or whatever because when it's all about weathering. No. You knew the rules for that category before you entered it. So if you've chosen to enter something that doesn't meet the criteria and someone else has entered something that does meet the criteria, they're going to do better than you, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's a competition, and I have no issue with that at all. What I do have an issue with is people whinging after the event. There's a classic one, and I remain nameless. It was a couple of years ago at Telford, and it was World War One biplane coming over a trench network. It was fantastically done. It was very well built. The individual that built it entered it in aircraft, and then whinged and said, "Well, what about the trench network? What about all the figures that I put on it? We'll enter it into dioramas." Because what the judges are looking at is the aircraft.
Yeah.
And on the day, there was better aircraft in that category than his biplane. But maybe he would have done better in diorama. You've paid your money, you make your choice.
James Hetwell just said, "I'd be offended if someone came up to me and mined it like a toy. I did what I wanted to do. I enjoyed building it. I was pleased with the result. We are all different." Yeah, we're not saying that. What we're trying to get at is the old start of the. For instance, I've seen people build 1/35th scale tanks, and you can see where they've tried to reenact the weld seams on a tank, and it was all out of proportion. It's like they used a cocktail stick and they patted it down, and from that point then, for me, it looked a little bit toy-like. It looked out of scale to what you're doing. Personally, I would never got somebody saying I look like a toy, but there was this thought of that the bigger you get, the more work you've got to put into it. Because if you put a model together just without any paints, without any weathering, it looks like a plastic toy, doesn't it? Be honest. The tracks aren't metal; they look plastic. So it's what you do with that model to impress on somebody's optics that actually that's that little track on the side, the way it glistens, that's metal.
And I think that's what Luke talks about with like his visual. Luke leans towards the visual experience, whereas Jim's more the realism, where I would probably myself sit somewhere in between. I like the Spanish, but I think personally for me, when I look at a lot of the Spanish stuff in magazine, that it's too much. It's at the point of God, that's a beautiful visual experience, but that's not leaning on the toy-like. It's leaning on it looks like there's too much weathering on it for me. So I would sort of sit in the camp of in the middle. I don't know. I'd call it the Gibraltarian weathering experience. And it's just like, for me, it's give me a subject fairly clean, put that level of detail on weathering that the Spanish style does, but in more focused in certain places. I mean, I think there was a classic one of where a couple of years ago, as part of the Spanish style, they put oil in that coming out the front of a ray dome of a Phantom, which there never would ever be. But it looked visually fantastic. Yeah. So, whereas put all those oil streaks further back and make it grubby, make it whatever, and that's why I say I sit in the middle of the road there, where make it stylized but make it accurate.
The benefit of the hobby that we're all involved in, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Where it becomes difficult sometimes is when people think that their way is the only way.
Agreed.
Then that will cause, I think James just said, if someone said his model looked like a toy, he'd be offended.
Well,
what my view would be that someone should never really, unless asked, don't offer comment.
Yeah,
because he has completed that model and worked to finish that model how he wanted it to be. So at that point, he's won, hasn't he? He's achieved his goal. If someone is bold enough to critique that model without invitation, then they shouldn't really be doing that. I would also argue that you shouldn't be offended over a piece of plastic because who cares?
Get a life.
Yeah. I mean, I can honestly say I've never ever given offence, but there's been lots of people that have taken it. Do you know what I mean? Well, it's your choice whether you take offence or not.
Exactly.
I don't think I've ever gone up to somebody and say, that paintwork isn't very good. But if they've impressed me, I'm the first. How did you do that? You know what I mean? It's like Jared at the weekend. Jared at Wales Model Show. He does foiling, and do you know what? I haven't got the bollocks to do foiling. I really haven't. But if you want to see, if I have to do metal skin plain, I would obviously spray it with paint. But if you really want the ultimate look for a metal skin plane, you know what I mean? No paint on it, just pure alloy or whatever. Foiling is the way to go, and that includes doing it panel by panel. Pressing down. I know. Jen Wright. She does a video on it where she boils the foil first, and there's a particular foil that you get from America. Wherever it is or where she got it from. And I promise you, if you want to do that, that is the ultimate. Me personally, I haven't got the balls, but every time I see it, there's nothing but like respect that, and how much work's gone into it. But I wouldn't dare say those tires at the bottom, you painted them, they should be rubber, shouldn't they? I wouldn't do it. You just won't, would you? Yeah, more likely those bollocks will be kicked farther up to make me have 3 lumps in my throat instead of 1. You just wouldn't do it. Good respect. Good respect, isn't it? So
there's a comment in the chat. Lox9 say it looks toy-like when too much mud is applied and does not look like mud on a tank. Okay, were you there that day at that particular time to see how much mud was on that tank? Because I would argue that you weren't.
I can't do
and if it's done well, then you look at reference pictures from World War One and how much mud was on those track vehicles. They were all a shade of brown, regardless of side and regardless of what camouflage was painted. They were all covered in mud, all of them. So again, it comes down to the skill of the builder in the finish. Does the mud look convincing? If it does, you're on an absolute sticky wicket to say there's too much mud on there. Because how do you know?
I just realized. I'll let the point out if I put too much mud on my tank, it's because I'm hiding that I've buggered it up. Do you know what
I think, and I think that it's a common technique. It is a common technique, and it's also a common misconception that people have about armor builders. That they use weathering to hide mistakes.
But is it a misconception?
It is a misconception.
See, I don't.
It's a common technique. And people do it, but good armor modelers won't do that.
Exactly, but not all modelers are good armor modelers.
True. No, aircraft modelers are good either.
Right. So, absolutely, you're correct. And it's like with anything, if it's done well, it's not about too much mud. It's about how the mud was applied. It's not about the color of the paint, it's how the paint was applied. This is what I say when we talk about judging. Is the F6F Hellcat from World War II pink? Okay, it'll be in the hypothetical category, but I don't care that it's pink. I care how the paint is applied. Is it smooth? Is your mud applied well? Is it strategically put to where it makes sense?
I totally agree. If you look on my channel, the Hellcat that I built and finished, it looks completely unrealistic. Very, very pronounced contrasting panel lines. Very, very. It does. It looks completely unrealistic. A real Hellcat would not look like that.
Yeah.
But that was the effect I was going for. I would argue that it was executed in an adequate way. And when it's been on tables at shows, it gains a lot of interest and people like it because it looks unrealistic, but it's finished well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's done well to the Spanish standard.
If I had produced an unrealistic, badly finished model, people wouldn't like it, would they? And rightly so. And rightly so. The F-35 that I built for Ben, for his SIG, is completely unrealistic. The ram tape is very pronounced, totally contrasting to the body color of the aircraft. It doesn't. An F-35 would not look like that. It wouldn't. But visually, I was going for, let's show the ram tape. Let's show, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I would argue that the
canvas.
paintwork is done in an adequate way. It's smooth. There's no silver in it, you know, and all that stuff. But does it look realistic? No, it doesn't. So it's got whatever effect you're going for, and you're absolutely right, Jim. It's got to be done well. Certainly if you put it into a competition, because people are going to say it doesn't look great.
Right.
Knox Nines just clarified what he meant is that some modelers don't represent mud like mud should be, and I kind of get that. I get that impression.
That's exactly what we're saying. Whatever you do, you've got to. If you want to gain praise for it or awards or whatever, it's got to be done well, and it's got to be done in a convincing way. If it's not, and you've just got some AK dry mud and slapped it all over a vehicle, it's not going to look good. It's not. From a visual interpretation and as a species, we look at things and we either like them or we dislike them. That's how we are. We're very visual as a species. So we're going to look at something, and depending on our personal preference, we're either going to like it or we're not. Jim would look at my F-35 and have an aneurysm. Because it's not.
It's covered in mud, isn't it?
It's not done in a realistic way at all. It's not. He wouldn't like it because that's his thing.
I think
David in the Valley's just said there, having driven a track vehicle through some parts of Salisbury Plain during a very wet day, you can have lots of mud on it, ranging from chalk white to black mud, and that's on one piece of ground. I was talking to someone about this about 2 years ago. I said, why is it all white? And he goes, that's where it's been crushing up the rocks. That's where it gets that white from. I totally went over my head that. Well, yeah, you're right. When it's a stone and it's chunnering along, it breaks up the rock and splashes it in with the mud. So, yeah. And Net says, when I go back into the morning, I posted the build on Facebook group, I had quite a few comments telling everything I got wrong. I left the group and didn't post anywhere for about 2 years. Unfortunately, we call them keyboard warriors. If you've got nothing nice to say, don't say it. As I was talking to the group before, I may share it at the end of the video. I had an unsavory comment on one of my videos this week, and I kind of replied in kind, if you know what I mean. But I got fed up with it, but that's, you've got to, don't ever let it take you down. And also, don't always look at the criticism as, oh, you got that bit wrong. Ask them, say, well, why is it wrong? And then normally they back off then, if you know what I mean, because they haven't got really.
The thing is, what you will find is there are lots of groups, online groups, where, so our group, for example, Moz's group and others, there is a no critique rule.
Yeah.
It's a rule of the group. So the only time that you would ever receive critique for anything you post is if you ask for it. There are other groups out there that will critique it. But the moment you put any image or video or whatever on the internet, that's fair game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something, it's part of modern life. It's something that we all have to accept. And then there is a group out there, I won't name them, and I know for a fact what they do is someone will post, say in my group, for example, where there's a no critique rule, they will screenshot those images because the technology exists that they can do that. They will then post it, sometimes anonymously, in other groups, and then that builder will be torn apart.
Yeah,
that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with it, and if it's found out who it is, they'll be removed from our group. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we all have to accept, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever online platform, if you put an image up there or a video or whatever it may be, a statement, doesn't matter, it's the internet. Once it's there, it's there forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fair game to the rest of the world. And so you have to learn, and it's a big learning curve. You have to learn to have a bit of a thick skin. And not take these things to heart, because these people, you know, they might critique my model from their fucking bedsit using communal fucking internet. Well, guess what? I'm sitting in my £1.5 million house building models the way I want to build them. I don't really give a shit what they say. Do you know what I mean? I don't care.
Exactly. You do indeed have to have a thick skin. I mean, imagine this. Someone once wrote a comment on my channel and they said that I had the most boring content they'd ever seen. Imagine that.
To be fair, that is quite accurate, mate. It's like mine.
Yeah.
Shall I share one?
No. Yours is more interesting than mine, but I'm cooler than you are.
Yeah. But we do avoid costly NHS for people with insomnia, don't we? Because they pop one of our videos on. And
absolutely.
They'll be asleep within about.
My stuff is often played for people who,
yeah. It probably turns the most incurable insomniac into an irreversible coma.
Correct.
I'll share this. Here you go. Here you go. Now,
I'll share this. Incriminate yourself, Moz.
Yeah, I'm going to share this, right? So I did a video about the links from Airfix. And this was the comment I got from, this is for you, Nat, right? This is, I don't do this often, but this guy had a bit of a bad day at work. I'm talking numbers. I'm looking at going digital with me books. So I'm having to sort out things with the accountant. And I came home and the guy wrote quite clearly, you know, your raging hard on for Airfix has grown very tiresome now. I've unsubbed as other modeling channels are far better than this one, but hey, keep fapping over Airfix. Why don't you? Goodbye. This was 3 weeks ago, by the way, during that time, if you know what I mean. How delightful. I'm glad you've unsubscribed. Have a fantastic new year. Then the guy responded today, and I wasn't feeling my best. And he said, have you got tired of wanking over Airfix kits yet, you back? So I responded, no, but your mum still insists I come over her face. Just to give some sort of response back, you know. I don't do it often. Normally I delete some of these comments, so I leave them up so other people can judge what them. But this guy's been on YouTube for about 3 months, or maybe his trolling account. But you get these sort of people on YouTube leaving these nasty comments. If you don't like what I'm doing, just unsubscribe. Do you know what I mean? So I went a little bit James Blunt on him today, obviously. But I don't normally do it. But these are the kind of things you get. And a lot of the time I hide it, you know, or I remove them. If it's anything like really racist or homophobic, whatever, they completely, you know, I just remove them and don't let them comment on my channel. But occasionally you get these people who come through. And so I just said, you know, so I replied in kind to him. Hopefully he's got the message and he won't be seen again on my channel. So, but, you know, this is what you get sometimes. But, you know, so as I said, I went a bit James Blunt on the guy and hopefully, but that's the kind of things as a YouTuber you get, you know, I get accused of all sorts, but, you know, but that's how she does. You know, how does she does it? Does she do a good breakfast, Moz? Yeah, she does really good scrambled eggs. So, well, they're scrambled anyway. But as I said, that's the kind of things you get on any sort of group. But going back to toys, Dutch Neighbor said, if the lifespan of a tank on the front line was no longer than 4 to 10 days, with max of about 7 months, isn't the latest fashion of extreme weathered armor a bit overdone lately? Although very beautiful. That's a really good shout. That I think that's a good question.
And that's yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, what is the modeler trying to do? And did they hit the mark?
Yeah.
Okay. What they have in here in their mind's eye and executing it and getting it on the table and getting that across to whoever's looking at it.
Their hobby.
It'd be a long, perilous process. And so that's why I say, you know, I have a gazillion great ideas and projects I want to do. These can never get it to looking the way that's why I'm never happy with anything I ever do.
Right.
And it's just like, okay, on to the next one. See if I can get there. So at the end of the day, who cares what anybody thinks of your model? You're the one that has to look at it in your display case. And if you're happy or okay, it's good enough to sit in there, I can stand looking at it. I mean, that's fine. I would never take offense if somebody came up and said, that looks like dog, you know what?
Right.
Fine, that's your opinion, whatever. I don't care. If you like it, fine. If you don't, fine. I could care less. I had fun building it. I tried to do what I wanted to do. I have within my own realm, like Luke said, I shoot for realism. I shoot for scale, effect, and color. I shoot for scale, effect, and weathering. And I don't do all the makeup steps because it's the latest in fashion Vogue thing to do, and do it just because I think it looks cool. It has to make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to have grease coming out of a ray dome on an F4 Phantom. Okay, if you want to do that, then that's fine. I mean, for me, that's a no-go. For you and whoever else, that's fine. You at the end of the day, do what you want to do. Don't take offense. If somebody comes up and says, you know, if I come up to that person who put the grease streak behind the F4 Phantom, am I going to say anything? No, it's their model. I don't care. I don't like it. But if you are the builder of that model and somebody says something to you, hey, pound sand, I don't care. I think it looks like a cool effect. Okay, then you come on with yourself, because that's what you accomplished, what you wanted to do. Okay, at the end of the day, I might not like it. Nobody may not like it. Who cares?
Yeah, and I think, as you say, Jim, it's about thick skin, really, isn't it? And like, I mean, even with my SIG with the ships and that, I get a lot of stick for building them full hull, because everybody goes, build them in the water, it looks better in the water. Build them in the water, it looks better in the water. Now, I don't do the water because I'm generally quite crap at it. So I build them full hull. And I actually prefer them full hull because then you actually get to see the height of the ships, and, you know, for a multitude of different reasons. But I also do a lot of what ifs, you know, but navalized versions. And then you'll get people that come and go, it didn't have that. I went, yeah, I know it didn't, because it's a what if. Well, why did you do that? Because I want to. And they're like, yeah, but it's not realistic. They never did it. I don't know. Right. Like, I'm going to do a MiG-17 or whatever. Well, it's not realistic because money or science or something got in the way. However, my what ifs are realistic to a point of, I'm not sticking space lasers onto Iowa class battleships or Trump things
and
or
lighting
them. Yeah, or whatever
they look like a toy.
Yeah, making them look like a toy, you know, with a whirlybird, whatever. When I've done my King Georges, they've been done on, if Britain had a lot of money to spend on a battleship and they're going to modernize it, what would they roughly do? So it's within reason. And somebody said, oh, you've butchered that lovely Tamiya kit. Well, don't care. It looks nice. I've enjoyed it. Most people seem to enjoy it. It's something different.
Your hobby.
And it's my hobby. And for anyone that feels like, oh, you know, I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have, it's your model at the end of the day. Unless you take it to the competition, I would say that's probably the only place in a show environment you're inviting critique, being in the competition. If it's on the table, you are there exhibiting. It's an exhibit. You're not being judged. So don't worry about it. You got a model, you want to put it on your club stand? Stick it on your club stand. You are all exhibiting the hobby. You know,
that's it. And I think
whatever.
Exactly, Ben. And also, don't ever, one of the things I love about showing my models off at a show is when people ask me questions about it. What's the build like? Were you happy with it? I'm happy to answer any questions on it.
Yeah.
I get a few questions asked about the Red Bull Spitfire I did for the Jadlam Spitfire build. This, not last year before, I think it was. It was, where'd you get the decals from? Oh, I found them online on eBay, and yeah, they weren't normal decals. You have to cut really tight to the wording and everything, but they come up really good, and things like that. People ask you a question about the Stolly. How did you get your rust effect? How did you do this? Don't ever, when a scale modeler puts their model out, that's an invitation for you to ask some questions on the build. Feel free to. Don't just look at it and move on. Show a bit.
Yeah. And it's exactly that. And I'm probably one of the few people on the show circuit that also bring part-built models that aren't completely finished, because that, for a lot of shows, like, no, can't build part-built models. It looks messy. Don't care. I will bring stuff that is in build or in progress, because you also want to show people what you start off with and how you progress through. So people have noticed on my stand, and it is also due to part laziness of not finishing them, I have the 3 aircraft carriers that are 3D printed at the back. You've got the one in bare print, you've got the one that's in primer and ready to be sanded and everything, and then you've got the finished item. And it shows you the whole thing. And it's a conversation starter, like you say, Moz.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely what it's all about. Yeah, give it. Here you go. Question to further on that question. If everyone goes extreme weather in because it's the latest show fashion, how authentic as a builder are you? Or are you just following the latest build style of fashion? Go on then, Mike. What's your thoughts on that?
Who? Who must?
Mike. Yeah, Mike. What's your thoughts on that?
Nope, you're Mike.
Oh, I think you're muted, Mike.
You're muted.
I think naturally we follow trends anyway, because we're, as a species, we're inclined to head towards the group anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think everyone does it to some extent.
So
yeah,
it takes it takes more of a conscious effort to go against the grain than it does to go with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So it go.
No, I'm just saying I generally do go against the grain with most things in life.
Yeah.
We noticed.
So this is what I would say. If you're displaying it, what's your end goal? Are you putting it on a clump table and you're just displaying it? Then you're just displaying it. Who cares? Okay. But when you enter it into a competition, read the rules, know what's expected of those rules, of be it of whatever show organizer it is.
Yeah.
And is it more an artistic competition where they look for certain styles and techniques and the artistic value in it? Or is it more of a contest oriented where things are going to be judged on a linear scale from A to Z and how that all progresses out? Are you going to do well in say an IPFS competition if you got this tank and you put it in a diorama and you've got wheels floating up in the air and you've got seams here and you got glue here, but then you've come in and you've slapped mud all over it and it doesn't make any sense? Is that going to do well? Probably not. There are builders out there that don't care about certain things, and their jam is nothing but the finished process, and they love doing 27 steps. That's fine too. If you're in that painting realm where it's more about the paint, then you're probably going to do well or better in that than you are in another competition. So what's your end goal? Ultimately, what do you want to do? And then 2, what's your end goal? Is it just to display it? Are you happy with it? Is it recreation? Do you just want to display it and not care? If you like it, you don't mind, or are you going to compete with it? There's all these different varying levels, I
think when you talk about, or Dutch Dave said about the authenticity of the modeler, the builder, whatever you want to call it, as long as someone is authentic to themselves,
yes,
then what the end result of what they produce is almost irrelevant. If they're happy with what they've done and the way they've done it, then they've done it right. Without showing, it's a hobby, it's not a job. So if they're happy, then they've done it correctly. Where that differs slightly is in relation to following the latest sort of trend within the hobby or the latest fashion or whatever. That will differ slightly depending on if you're entering competitions, depending on the competition you're entering, the judges will sometimes lean towards one particular area. That they will follow trends in certain things, certain competitions, and then people get upset if they don't. And that's where the issue lies. So IPMS, I think, are very, very good at laying down a set of criteria, a set of rules. If you don't want to adhere to that, or you think they should change it to fit how you want to do stuff, well, don't enter that competition. Go and find one that's more happened back in the 90s in the States, did it not, Jim? And that's where amps came from.
That was the first incarnation of.
There was a group of individuals that disagreed with how IPMS were doing things and how they were running their competitions and everything else. So that group of individuals set up their own society, 30 years ago now, set up their own society and did things the way they thought it should be done. And they've continued to do it and gone from strength to strength, and all power to them. What they didn't do was critique and criticize people that weren't doing it their way, because they're not doing it their way and their way is the best. They didn't do that. They went, well, we don't really want to do it that way, so we're going to go and do our own thing.
And now you got people over here that aren't happy with either one.
Yeah, but all power to them. You've got to kind of put your money where your mouth is, and that translates to life, and that translates to the hobby. Without a shadow of a doubt. I made a throwaway comment a few minutes ago. I generally go against the grain in most things in life because I have a set of values, a set of outlooks on certain things, and I will not deviate from them, regardless of what the crowds say. And sometimes that can be difficult because you end up in, I wouldn't say conflict, that's a strong word, but you're always the bad guy. You're always, because you haven't just gone, well, we'll just do that because everyone else is doing it. No. That's not how I'm going to do it. And if I have to do things by myself, then so be it.
What do the kids say? You do you?
You do you.
Yeah. Be yourself.
Don't tell me that when I'm doing that I'm doing it wrong.
Right.
Shut up.
It may be that you're.
As I said earlier about offence, I've never given offence, but there's been plenty of people that have taken it personal. What offends you might not offend me, and vice versa.
For me, I always ask myself two questions when I finish building the model: did I learn something, and did I enjoy it? If I can answer yes to both of them, then who gives a shit?
I just recently done a video for Airfix. They're doing this rock. They're going to put one of their rockets up in a balloon to celebrate Artemis going up to the moon or whatever it is.
Nice.
And I've done a video and the question was asked to me, what kit would I want to send into space? And I've picked the E-Type Jag, the starter set in 143, because I've built 3 of them. One, they're a really good mojo build. And secondly, has there ever been a car so beautiful, so well made as that Jag from this country? And if an alien was to build it, they'll probably get some appreciation on the beauty of a car, basically. But I said in the video, the reason also is just it's so emotive. When you build a model, it's not just the plastic. You kind of get involved when you start looking, saying how does it, how does this look in a picture? You get into the history of it and you learn a bit from it as well.
It's the research that drives me for a lot of stuff.
Hard. Yeah, I think you sit there and what my first back and call. Forget Chat GPT. I'm a wiki kind of guy. So the first thing I do is I'll go on wiki and just talk. Read about the engine, because that information is not in the box. That's outside of the box, if you know what I mean. And you find yourself getting involved in it, thinking, there was 70,000 of these Jaguars built. Majority of them were left-hand drive because most of them went to America. You hear, you talk about the engine and the independent suspension. You get involved in it, So it's one of them. Building models for me is the greatest mental health medication I can have. I shut that door, I switch on the light, and I'm there, and I'm impressing on that plastic my world and what I've read about it. And then you can appreciate that, how the Chieftain, one of the greatest tanks ever, or you could talk about the T-34 as the tank that apparently now people claim is the one that won World War II, things like that. And you can get involved in it. And I think Ben's the same, with his ships, you get so emotionally involved in it as well. And at the end of it, you learn.
It's the research, it's the learning, isn't it? And if you remember Airfix, right at the beginning of their history, when you used to buy the kits, you used to get a great big long blurb of the history. You didn't just get the little bit that's now in the box. It was used as an educational tool. And that's one of the things I tried to change with Snap, with the group, is that I've got QR codes that take you to the website that basically give you the Wikipedia rundown of that ship or whatever, or that aircraft or that subject. So that it's interactive, but it's also you're learning from it. And that, I think, is a really important thing to remember with the hobby. It's a very good, certainly for the younger generation, inroad into science, technology, engineering and maths, so STEM, but also just generally understanding life, cars, whatever. It's really good for that. And I think, as you say, from a mental health point of view, it's also brilliant. It gets people off screens. You know, people are building stuff there, using their hands. They're doing a bit of creativity. They're doing a bit of painting. They're doing a bit of everything. And it's just, it will also, if you want to be really modernist, it's a good way to start assembling things in life, because at some point you'll be old enough and you'll have a partner and you'll need to be able to IKEA furniture. So if you've done an Airfix kit, you can do IKEA furniture. Practical learning.
You got the bird. All the parts are named.
The parts are named. That's what's missing. I just want to point out one thing. I was listening to a podcast. It must have been 3 years ago, and I wish I could still find it. I can't. And they were talking about surgeons. There were surgeons who build scale models for the dexterity of their hands. And it was fascinating insight to that. That was just something that I listened to years ago. But there is, it's a sense of accomplishment when you finish that model, depending on your skill set. And remember, your last model, is training for your next model, if you know what I mean. So, you develop, the more you build, the better you become. And just embrace it all. As I said, I've not done foiling, but I think Jared's got some foil he wants to send me now. So you may see a Mustang that's completely metal foiled. You never know. Yeah, the transferring of skills. Exactly. So, is it toy-like? No, it's not. Yeah, dentist. I've had that as well. But it is. He goes in. What's your comment here, Zinzan?
I wrote this some while ago, and this is true for anything. It's important to complete things because it's you grow and you improve. You learn something as you go. You understand better the way that things work. You understand systems better.
Of course.
It's there's so much more to it than I could put in just a few words like that. But maybe one day I will add a little bit more to that than is there right now, and hopefully I'll put it down somewhere and you can all have a look at it and then decide. But I think that, there is a psychological aspect to this. And if you finish something, it actually then doesn't matter how you finished it, but you did. And those that give you quiet words of encouragement, well, those people, my friends, they are your friends because they want what is best for you. They delight in your successes. They exult in them, in fact, and they sympathize with you in your failures. And when you know you are with your friends, you know that you can tell them about your failures.
Absolutely.
And it is the nicest of things that subscribers on one's channels, on my channel certainly do, is to say, I think you did that really well.
Yeah.
Those small words of encouragement, which are here today and gone tomorrow, are more valuable than anything that I could imagine. And one of the reasons why I started to do this was not for that, but it was because I thought that it would help me finish things. It would help me to learn something. Presentation is one of the things, being able to speak extemporaneously without notes, that means. But that's important. So yeah, completion is great. Please
I'd absolutely echo that finishing a build that should be your end goal. With everything you do, you'll hear it a lot, and I think in this particular hobby, it will attract a certain type of character, of course. Like golf will attract a certain type of character, football will attract a certain type. In the main, you'll always get the exception, obviously, but in the main it does. And we hear a lot about the shelf of doom and the squirreling. Something new comes on the market, people buy it and they half build it and they get bored. That's a trend within the hobby, and it's not a good one. It is not a good one, because if you don't finish something and I'm sure there's many psychiatrists and people that know how the brain works in the human body and everything else that could explain it way better than me. But if you don't finish something, your brain doesn't get even if it's finished and you've made a mess of it or whatever, it doesn't matter because you've learned. But you've got to finish things that you start, because if you don't, you'll start lots of things, you never finish anything, and that will play on your mind. It will play on your mind, and it becomes a habit. It becomes a habit to open the new box, to do a little bit, and then put it on the shelf of doom, as people refer to it. You've got to finish what you start. It's so important.
Add one caveat to that, and that's that finish it to a point where you're happy that it's finished, rather than, because it's subjective as to when it's finished. If you think it's finished because you built it and you're not interested in painting it, then you're not going to enjoy painting it, and it's going to put you off doing it in the future. So you got to do it to a point where you're satisfied, because you could build a diorama forever and a day and add more and more detail. If you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it and you keep doing it because somebody else has told you that's not finished yet, then you're just going to give up and you're not going to bother.
But I think that's I disagree, because I think that's the psychological. If we only do things we enjoy, we don't achieve anything. And that's the psychological point of finishing what you start. Whether you're actually enjoying it or not, to finish something, you will get a sense of satisfaction. If we only do things we'd enjoy, most people wouldn't even go to work.
Let me put it another way. At what point is it finished?
When you've completed all steps.
Okay, but how many steps are there to painting a model?
There's a very
you need to add this detail to it or something like that.
No, I disagree. I think if you start to not finish things, whether that be a model or things in life, whether you're enjoying every single second of what you're doing or not, That's a dangerous game to play.
There's a very good point in amongst this, and it is said in story, and I've no reason really to disbelieve this, that Leonardo da Vinci, who painted the Mona Lisa, used to keep it with him throughout his life and was continually going back to it in an attempt to make it better.
Yeah.
And you could argue that he never really finished it, but yet it is one of the most valuable and valued paintings ever created. But it echoes a point, and I will say this again, or for the first time actually, that the great Oscar Wilde said of art, it is entirely useless. That is why it is art. And everything that we do is art.
And that's entirely subjective.
I don't think what we do is art. I don't think it is.
I say it's artistic elements, but to me, it's not art.
There's an element of individuality in it, and I think that it is a form of art. I do believe that.
And that's the thing; it's personal to everyone. But when someone has got 15 unfinished kits on their shelf of doom,
right? Come on, you gotta focus, man.
I'll go for
because they develop a habit. They develop a habit of not finishing stuff, and that's dangerous.
My danger, Luke, is if a model takes me more than 3 weeks, I get bored of it. That's the tragedy. That's why I rush into it. It's like that measures me 1/24 because I want to get this perfect. You know, like I'm filling in the ejector pin marks on the inside of the panels there. But because that's taking time, it's cutting into it. And, you know, now I'm thinking I need to get on with this. And so, like, this week is like my focus is on getting that as much done as I can, not let life's
But I would argue, Moz, that what will happen is when you do finish that and you push on through that sort of mental block that you've encountered, boredom or whatever, once you push through that, you crack on and you finish it, you know, as much as anyone can say anything's finished, but you do. The sense of satisfaction and achievement will be huge. Then if you went, you know what, I'm bored of this now, I'm going to put it all back in the box, put it on a shelf, and I'll come back to it next year, the year after. You never will. You will never go back to it. You never will. It will stay in that box for the next decade. And you'll never finish it. And then somewhere in your brain, there'll be something that says, you never finish that, so it doesn't matter if you finish this one. It doesn't matter if you finish the next one. It doesn't matter if and before you know it, you hear it all the time. I hear it almost on a daily basis. Oh, my shelf of doom is massive. Yeah, that's nothing to be proud of.
I get that. I do get that.
One thing I do to try to combat that is every little part of a model is a model within itself. So like you did the engine and you were showing the engine. There's one model. Now we're on to the
You've done that. You've finished it. It's done. You know what I mean? And it's done to a standard that you're really happy with. So that then gives you the impetus to do the next bit. Like you say, Jim, every sub-assembly is a model in its own right, isn't it?
Yeah. As I said, I'm just stating fact, like, you know, it's just, you know, and you know, I'm a busy man. I'm here, there, everywhere. So if I get a chance, I'll jump on it. But I'm at that stage now where I'm just thinking, right, I've got to really push on with this. Because all I've got to do now, because, you know, is get the, you know, it's up to this stage now. What I really got to do is get the landing gear on, spray up the bit I missed at the side here where I oversprayed the yellow because the tape didn't stick proper. And I'm pretty much almost there with it, really. You know, a little bit of rigging and you know.
The bit you're doing at the moment, getting rid of injector pin marks and all that. No one that I know of.
Think that
no one really enjoys that process. It's like a necessary evil, isn't it?
Evil,
yeah. No one really enjoys it, but it's testament to your character that you know it's got to be done. So although it's a bit of a ball ache, and it's not something you're relishing to get on with when you finish your day's work or whatever. But you're going to do it anyway because you know that the end result. You know, when I'm out running and I get to the 4 mile point or 5 mile point or whatever, and I'm still 3 miles away from home, it hurts. Yeah. But what am I going to do? Stop and walk? No, I'm going to carry on running. And then once you've gone through that, once you get home and you know you've ran the 6, 8, whatever, although at some point during that journey, you've got to a point where you're like, you know what, it'd be really easy now just to fucking walk home and have a burger. Do you know what I mean? Don't do that. The sense of achievement when you finish that distance and you've powered through that difficulty, the sense of achievement is massive. And modeling's no different. It's no different.
No, quite correct. Absolutely. That's absolutely right.
Do you think, Moss, that Messerschmitt will be a kit that you'll get down from the shelf and look at occasionally over the years, and it'll bring you back and you'll have a sense of achievement out of it?
Oh, it's already by doing that engine was a sense of achievement.
Yeah.
It's bloody gorgeous, you know.
It's funny what Luke said, because I've got an old tool, Airfix Vulcan, and it was a right bitch to build, but it really was, honestly. It got me to the end of my tether at times, but I sometimes get that kit down from the shelf and just look at it, and it just takes me back, you know, and it's a sense of achievement.
Yes, that's the key.
What Luke was saying is absolutely spot on.
It's that you can look at something, and I don't keep many of my builds as much.
No, I don't.
I throw most of them away, but there are odd ones that I'll keep. Sacrilege. But there are odd ones that I'll keep.
And you go and buy them from model shows already built. What's all that about?
And it looked cool. But it's a sense of achievement, isn't it? So you look at that Vulcan and go, you know what, that was an absolute bitch, and I probably didn't enjoy it really. It would have been much easier to sit on the sofa and watch a film. I would have got more enjoyment from that than dealing with the seams and sanding and filling and sanding. However, now when you look at it, you have that sense of achievement. You did it. No one else did it, and that's the key. That is the key.
Yeah, we're human beings, and we're goal-seeking creatures, and our brains are wired and designed to give us rewards when we make steps towards a stated goal. We have to state the goal, and this is why so many people fail. They fail to state the target, and because they're afraid that they may have to define the parameters of their failure.
Yes,
and this is the issue. So anyone like the excellent Joffrey or the magnificent Mr. North Devon here, they take steps towards a target, and the target is that completion.
Yes.
And every time they clean up those ejector pin marks, they know they're doing that, and every time they achieve that, they get that little dopamine hit.
Correct.
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
Just got to jump in here quick. You've got to quick jump in here because where is it? Sorry, wrong one here. Where's it? It's jumped to me. Okay, it's saying here. So Luke, you don't believe the saying it's a journey, not the destination. The journey A to B is not straight with scale modeling. It never has been. It never will be. From what you get from what you get from plastic to what you get at the end, that journey can be easy, hard. I mean, it depends on what you want to do with the build. You know, for me, the journey for me with it all is how am I going to do this better than last time? You know, if you notice when I did my tractor, that was the first time I'd ever done chip weathering on it.
Mm-hmm.
I could have done it easier doing the old way of spraying it up and then using powders, but I made the journey harder for myself by doing a technique I've never done before. In fact, it's one of the best techniques I think I've ever done thanks to Sully, but I did ask Sully on how he did it. You know, I got all that mental info on how to do it properly, and then I think the destination is where you're getting to, and it is about the destination of finishing the model. But also in that, you have to decide whether you turn left or turn right, depending on how easy you want to do it or how you want to push yourself. And if you want to push, like on this, this Messerschmitt, I could have done the easy option and did it with all the doors closed and only done part of the engine. But I wanted to do the engine because I think the engine is the most beautiful thing on that model. Hence why my journey has become a little bit more, bit more open, and so I'm having to deal with more of ejector pin marks, etc. So the journey is just as important as the destination, in my opinion.
I mean, I can answer that. Whether I believe in the saying or not, yes and no.
It's both.
I think the destination is the ultimate goal. There's no point commencing a journey if you don't know where you're going. There has to be a final destination. Similar to Zinzan was saying, you have to set yourself parameters, and you have to set yourself an end game. However, the journey for you to get to that end goal, and if we're talking about scale modeling, the journey to achieve the destination, the end result, can take many, many forms, and it can be subject to change depending on what you encounter on the way. And then what happens is you learn from those processes that you've gone through, you learn from that journey, and then you apply that to the next build. But the destination is important, but it's not the only important thing in the process. The journey is important, but you do need a destination.
Yeah,
you absolutely do. And if you don't, then you will not get the dopamine hit that Zinzan talked about. You won't get it. You won't get that if you don't achieve the destination.
The money shot.
And unfortunately, we live in a world now where people want an easy fix. And that's why everyone's doing drugs, everyone's getting drunk, everyone's eating shit food, people won't do anything that hurts, except that's the problem. And so the dopamine hit that they're getting, there's no sense of achievement. None. Go and try and buy a house with no money. Well, the journey to get to the point where you've got the money is you have to work. And if you don't work, you're not going to achieve the money that you need to buy the house. However, when you see your house that you've worked for the last 20 years or whatever, the dopamine hit you'll get is amazing because you know that you've achieved that by putting yourself through hardship. Well, the end result of a build, as Moz is finding out with his injector pin marks, when he finally finishes that 109, he's got everything open and it looks great, and he's going to then think back to the week where he was getting rid of injector pin marks on the cowling and hated every single second of it. But his dopamine hit will be massive because he's done it, and there were other people that built that kit and gone, no, I'll just take the easy option and close the door. So they won't get the same sense of achievement. They won't.
I would like to bitch that Airfix and why they put ejector pin marks in something that's going to be visible. Do you know what I mean? But we could go, that's another subject altogether, isn't it?
When he was designing that kit, he thought to himself, I might need a big dopamine hit. So if I put injector pin marks here, he's going to have to get rid of it.
They did it to piss you off.
There's no developer company that does not put ejection pin marks where you don't want them.
No. I've never found one.
No,
I've never found one.
No, exactly. And on that bombshell, we should be coming to the end now. It's 3 minutes to 10. Keep an eye out tomorrow because I said Nuremberg starts tomorrow. Dale's over there actually. He texted me saying he's in Germany. So I was going to go this year, but I didn't want to go by myself. So I'm going to aim to go next year to Nuremberg.
That's my fault.
Yeah, he's moving house and everything. He's got a missus again, isn't he? So he's like, he's not.
I'm moving house. I can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Postpone that to go to a toy fair.
Yeah, you should have done really. And then, but then again, I would have had to have come back for Thursday because I've got a wake to do on Thursday. Crumbs, you know. Yeah, I've got a wake to do. So imagine that disco. Yeah, cry your eyes, mate. So yeah, but,
you need to play that.
Cry me a river.
Yeah. Some of the songs they've asked me to play at this funeral. They bury him at 11, and then I'm gigging then right the way through, right to 11 o'clock. They're having a really massive party. That's what he wanted for everyone to celebrate his life.
I could buy you a cracking playlist.
And the playlist is very interesting, I will say.
Has it got Elton John on it? Has it?
Let's go. Yeah, Candle in the Wind.
Stairway to Heaven.
Stairway to Heaven.
Living in a box.
Living in a box.
Brilliant of it.
Yeah. Right. When I die, they lay me to rest.
Yeah.
I gotta go to the place that's the best. Mate, I will play anything you want at your wake if you're willing to pay me. Definitely, you know, it's it's just one of them. I've done a funeral before. I've done an Irish one before. That was one of the funniest nights ever because they said to me, "Can you do karaoke?" I said, "Yeah, for £100." They went, "Yeah, do karaoke as well." I got shoved a load of money at me, so I got the karaoke on the screen for them, and the amount of songs they were singing, just get it. But that's some people celebrate a life that way, you know, and
good on them.
It's their life.
It's so I'm doing that on Thursday, but it's but I would have loved to have gone to Nuremberg. So expect, as I said, Revell to be announcing lots of kits. Tamiya chucking a kit or two, don't they? Even though I did notice Jadlam are updating their new releases on their page tonight. So if you want to check out Jadlam, you may see a few re-releases from Tamiya being put up there and from others. Said, but you know, again, I think Zvezda put out kits there as well. People like that, you know, some of the Eastern
ICM might be doing the same as well. So,
yeah, ICM might be doing some stuff. So
Special Hobby will be another one because they're there.
Yeah, they've already put one out today, haven't they? Special Hobby. I think I saw it on the line on my Google search.
Possibly. I don't think I've seen it though.
No, I'm just if I go on onto Scale Mates. No, that's not that one I want. It's the other one, isn't it? There's what was it? Das Werk. We got new parts for SDKFZ in 1/16 scale. So we'll talk about 1/16, won't we? Das Werk are bringing out
another half track.
With new parts. It's been announced last couple of days. ICM new parts with their Black Hawk crew. Pit Road. Pit Road. This is the trouble now when you go on Scale Mates. There's so much coming out which is 3D print. It's not what I would call traditional plastic scale model kit. So, so there's quite a bit
in my heart.
Oh, too much of it. Thespid models, they're bringing out Newport. There's quite a bit there. Was it Freedom model kits? They've announced F16 BM, so there's all sorts coming out the last couple of days. So keep an eye out for it, and hopefully all good. And again, thanks for watching us tonight. We had a good start, and we went a bit off kilter with that fly thing, but it'll be.
It was fun. It was fun.
I'll do a video on it, and I'll do a review on the box anyway. It won't take me too long, will it? It's only the size of.
I was disappointed you didn't say that was the kit you wanted sent to space. Was the fly?
Yeah,
that would have been funny, wouldn't it? It's the way it's got that little branding toss kit, and it looks very Airfix-esque, doesn't it, with the red and the white and the black.
So you
said $25 for that. I can go have 3.
Are you going to do him up as Jeff Goldblum?
Oh, David Hedison, the original. You'd have to fly with his head on it in a web.
Yeah.
It'd have to be black and white, though, wouldn't it?
Oh no, it's red in colour.
That's a good idea for a diorama. Get some thread and just do a web, couldn't I? And then just stick
but don't forget, you can get Jeff Goldblum in a figure now because they did that. X models did the Spinosaurus, didn't they, from Jurassic Park with him? So you can get Jeff Goldblum and you can put the fly on his head. There you go.
Yeah, like I said, the original film was David Hedison.
Anyway, folks, all those who said they saw me on Sunday at Wales, thank you very much. And I will be at Bovington this year, either the Saturday or Sunday. I'll let you know beforehand with Iska Scale Model Club. So I'll let you know when I'll be there. But anyways, thanks all for joining us tonight. Thanks for the panel, and have a really good rest of your week. And take care. Good night, all. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.